Alright guys, welcome back to another Fortnite video, and in this one, I'm going to be showing you some of the most unique and creative tips in-game to help you guys get better, and they're also ones that are a little bit weird. They're not your typical tips and tricks, guys. These are ones that I think are pretty fun, and it's stuff like a new creative way to build your 1x1s, a great way of like sniping players, a secret tilted landing spot, stuff like that. But again, they're definitely some unique tricks, so I think you guys may learn something new, and I think you guys will find this helpful. So it's going to be a very fun video, and if you guys do find this stuff helpful, be sure to use my creator code in the item shop. It is TheLlamaSir, as you can see on screen. And reminder guys, it resets who you have put in for a supported creator code every 14 days. So be sure to double check if you have my code still in there. But thanks to all of you guys who have been using that. Also guys, be sure to hit that like button down below. I appreciate it a ton. Encourages me to make more videos. And also comment down below, how many wins do you guys have? I'm curious to see. Are you a new player? Have you been playing for like over a year and have gotten like a ton of wins? I'm curious to see, so comment that down below. But yeah guys, without further ado, let's jump into it with the first trick I want to go over, and this is a pretty interesting one. It's a few like unique things that give you a ton of mats that you may not have known about, and a lot of people just leave these be, but a couple of them get you like over 100 mats like super quick, so they're definitely good to know about. So like for example here, the tomato head at Tomato Temple. This thing is a great way of getting metal. In general, this one averages at like giving you over 100 metal, and it only takes around 5 hits to destroy the entire thing, as long as you know you hit the critical points. But over 100 metal from one structure, and you guys know sometimes it's a different amount of how many mats you get, but that's really good, especially since, you know, this tomato head is almost always here. At least when I've been playing, whenever I stop by Tomato Temple later in a game, the tomato head is still like always there. So it's something to keep in mind, but that's not the only thing that gives you a ton of materials. One of the newer ones is actually the throne inside of the Polar Peak Castle. This thing can sometimes give you over 100 brick, which is definitely pretty useful as well. Brick is pretty much all you can find in here. There's a little bit of wood as well, like with bookshelves, but by far, if you go over here and there's like a chest, you can open the chest on the throne and then break down the throne itself to get that extra bit of materials. It's another thing that a lot of people just leave there, but you know, if you know about it, it can help out a ton. And then for the final thing I want to show you guys, it's of course the Der Burger head near Pleasant Park. This one doesn't seem to give you as much as the tomato head. I'm not exactly sure why. Last time I went here, I think it was around like 74 or something like that, but still, if you're grabbing the rifts, might as well break that. I don't know why some people go to the rifts and don't break this down, considering it does give you a really good amount of mats. But moving on to the next tips I have for you guys, I had to go to Tilted to showcase this one. It doesn't exactly have to do with Tilted, but the one after it does, so that's why we're here. But yeah, this tip actually has to do with chests and how to better, you know, get the loot out of them if you're landing at the same chest that somebody else is landing. And as you guys know, that happens all the time here in Tilted, like all the time. So yeah guys, like for example here, if I just respawn, say you're gliding in like this, but for example, say you're landing at this chest right here and somebody else lands at it the same time as you. Now most of the time what happens is you both go for the chest and try to get the item out of it. However, most people don't know that it's actually best to be on the right side of the chest, like right around here, and trying to pick up the weapon from there, because if you guys didn't know, when you open a chest, most of the time the weapon inside of it goes to the right of the chest, or a little bit, you know, like 45 degrees from the front of it over here. So keeping that in mind, you can open the chest on the right side, and most of the time you'll end up getting the weapon before the other person, and they'll end up with like a chug jug, which won't help them. But like for example, let's try that again on a few other chests just to show you how it works. Again, stay on the right side of it, pops out to the right most of the time, and like here's a third chest, weapon pops out to the right. So it's just a very consistent thing to know about, and it's also helpful when you just want to get a weapon quick, like somebody's in your building and you want to go find them. You don't even want to mess with the other stuff. You're going to know where it's pretty much going to drop. You can pick it up and, you know, go find them. Again, just a very useful but kind of weird tip that I think you guys should know about. Keeping it going here with the next one though, which I said also had to do with tilted towers, and this one does. It is actually a fairly secret landing spot that can help you guys get loot super quickly and also some mats, and most of the time nobody lands here. It's a pretty secret spot. I think I saw it on Reddit a while ago. I couldn't find the original post, so if you guys know who made that post, be sure to leave a comment down below. But overall, it's a very helpful spot, and it's actually on the side of like the central building, this one right here. So it's actually on the fire escape. You want to land on the second part of have the fire escape in the middle, as you can see right here. If you land right there, it's a perfect little spot to break down that wall, and then when you go inside, this room is actually perfect because there's floor loot that can spawn. As you can see, there's a chest that can spawn behind this wall, so if you break down that, you can get one chest right away if it decides to spawn there. Then if you go back, there's an ammo box on top of this stack of pallets, and those pallets are great for some mats right away, and there's also some small pallets right here for even more mats. But on top of that, there's also a second chest. If you build a ramp and go up here, there's a second chest that can spawn, and that can get you even more loot right away. And a lot of the times nobody's gonna be here because they're gonna be on like the top floor, maybe the bottom floor, but since you're sort of in the middle, most of the time you'll have this entire spot to yourself. So it's a very useful spot. I recommend using it. It's definitely helped me out a few times get some good starts to games. For this next one, this has to do with sniping, and it's actually a trick I've used a bunch, and you may have even seen me use it in like the gameplay portions of some of my videos just because of how useful it is. So let me recreate how this works in game right here. It's not a perfect example, but it'll get the point across of how it works. But yeah, it's a great trick for if somebody's in a 1x1 and also you're in your 1x1. So real quick, just build one. But yeah, a lot of times you find yourself in a similar situation to this where you have a sniper rifle and your opponent who's like over there in a base, maybe a 1x1, has some ramps up, whatever it is, they have a sniper as well. And you're kind of in this awkward, you know, face off where nobody really wants to peek. You're both just, you know, peeking over, but you're not going to get a shot. So something that you may have seen me doing in some of my gameplays is to actually, you know, bait that person to peek in order to get a sniper shot on them. Now, the way that you do that is to put a ramp right there. Now, once you put that ramp, you also want to hit it once. That's a better way to make it work because it keeps this piece right here a little bit broken so that you can see through it. Now, what that allows you to do is line up your crosshairs on where that person is going to be peeking, and a lot of times this single ramp sort of tricks the other person. Like, let me go over here real quick to sort of give you an example, but when you put that ramp up, it sometimes tricks them to peek and then try to shoot it out because they think you might be on top of it and then you're going to fall down. But as you can see, that gets them to, you know, pop up. So if we go back over to our 1x1 and re-put the ramp like right here, if that person is shooting out our ramp in front of us, we're sitting back here with our crosshair on them so that when they break it down, you can just, you know, shoot as soon after as they break it down. I know that's a little bit hard to show like me breaking it and then sniping, but you can shoot like as soon as that ramp breaks, you just fire and you can catch that person a lot of the time. It's a great trick. I've used it a ton and it does work, especially in those, you know, weird standoffs with snipers. But moving on to this next one, this is one of my favorites that I just recently found out about when I was messing around with like editing, trying to, you know, test out different things. And I think this might just be an improved version of a 1x1. That's right, you know, the typical 1x1 that everybody uses, like this right here, just a simple 1x1. I think this may just be an improved version to actually do this that you may want to try out. You may find it more useful in certain situations, but yeah, with the typical 1x1, it has a couple of drawbacks. You know, it's decent, it's good, it's simple to build and all of that, but again, there are some drawbacks, and the first of which is that, you know, you don't see a ton. You have to sort of sit back here since most people use a ramp, so it's a little tough to, you know, see in front of it. You can always edit the ramp like this, but, you know, that takes time to edit it and switch around, and then, you know, you can't really look easily this way and see what's down here. On top of that, you can't really look behind you unless you edit the wall. That's pretty typical. And I mean, it works, but it's not great. So an experimental way to maybe improve this is to remove this ramp right here, put down a roof piece, and then what you want to do is edit the tops off of all 4 of these walls, as you can see right there. Now, when you do this, if you go next to the walls, you're still fully protected as long as nobody's on a hill behind you, but it lets you look at a bunch more. As you can see, you can go full 360 around and have the same way of looking about it, which again just lets you see a lot more. Like, as you can see, I'm just walking around. I don't have to edit any ramp to look in a different direction. I can get a good view by just altering where my camera is facing. And if anybody's up there, you can still peek up and fire at them. And again, it doesn't matter what direction. If they're over here, you can aim over there. If they're on this side, you can still aim on that side. It works really well. And on top of that, if you want to go back to a typical 1x1, you just reset all of the walls. It's pretty simple to do, and then you edit the ramp, or not ramp, the floor piece right there, and you're back to a typical 1x1, or you can, you know, reset it back to the altered 1x1 as you see right here. So yeah, guys, it's an interesting way of doing a 1x1 that I think you guys should maybe try out. Oh, and also one other thing that's pretty useful about this is it's very easy to see like to the base of your structure without actually peeking up. You guys know with like a typical 1x1, you sort of can't perfectly see to the bottom of like this side right here, your ramp side, because then you'll be exposed like up here, which doesn't really work. But with this altered variant, it, you can just peek your camera around, see if anybody's at the bottom, you know, sneaking around. I mean, you'd know somebody's down there, but this allows you to see like what side they might be on very, very easily. So yeah, guys, pretty cool overall. But after that, guys, let's talk about a secret loot spot. This is just a quick one, but it's a funny one that not really many people know. It's honestly super hidden, and if you're at this location, it almost always goes unsearched. So, you know, if you're looking for loot, happen to eliminate everybody there, you might as well check here for, you know, some potential extra floor loot. But basically, the location that I'm talking about here is Lazy Links. Now, you probably know where all the chests are and stuff like that, but did you know that there's actually a secret spot to get loot under this staircase right here? That is right, guys. As you can see, when you break it down, you can get light ammo. Well, you can get light ammo, but as you can see, like some other times I went here, just in Playground for example, it's a random floor loot drop, so you know you can get a bunch of different stuff. As you can see, I got a blue SMG, and I'm pretty sure you can get like whatever drops as floor loot. You could probably get like a legendary assault rifle if you happen to get lucky enough right here. So yeah, guys, it's definitely worth checking out. It's almost never checked by other players. And also, in case you were curious, if you go to the other staircase on the other side, there's something under there as well. So as you can see, you break it down and there is actually an ammo box under this staircase in case you need some ammo. It's a cool little trick, guys, so definitely check that out. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more fun videos like this coming out in the near future. On top of that, you can check out some of my previous videos here, such as on the left, going over some update news, such as the possibility of the Zapotron maybe returning in the future, and then on the right, my week 5 challenges guide. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.